Destiny Generation.
You gotta go out.
Know your faith.
You gotta know it to share
We
it.
have to let everyone know.
Let me tell you about it.
Share the faith.
Don't you know that my faith is important to me? It's already tested.
We are the Destiny Generation.
Women, your physical body is a sign and a symbol of the church, but it gets better. You're not just a sign and symbol of the church, you are a sign and a symbol of all humanity. In fact, you're a sign and symbol of what I'm called to do. What do we call the earth? Mother Earth, Mother Nature. In fact, every single man is ultimately, in some ways in his spiritual life, he has to in some ways, and don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about like, because I can't stand holding hands and singing cheesy little songs and making butterfly collages that makes me want to puke. However, as a man, I have to in my spiritual life in some ways become female. In the fact that I have to be receptive, I have to conceive Christ within my heart, I have to bring him out into the world and nurture it. If you struggle with that, take it to prayer. But this is, ladies, not only are you an image of the church, an image of all humanity, you're also an image of like, Mary. Watch the screen. What did Mary do? Mary received life from God. Mary then conceived life in her womb. She then brought forth life. And then what did Mary do? She nurtured it at her own breast. Receive, conceive, and bring forth life. This is the life of the Blessed Virgin Mary. This is the life of every single woman. This is the life of the church. This is the life of all humanity. And it's in your bodies lately, ladies. And yet, ladies, what has your body been reduced to? An absolute object. What is the number one entertainment industry in the world? Internet pornography. Women's body is being sold for absolutely nothing. Receive, conceive, and bring forth life. This is the beauty of womanhood. And what do we have? We have a feminist movement which hates your body. Contraception. We are against conception. We are against femininity. Abortion. We hate babies. We hate femininity. Women, don't be a woman. Please, take a pill. Take a pill so that you will no longer be a woman, you will no longer be fertile, but you will become a man. Who is the only person that can enter into a sexual act and not walk away unfertile? A man. Women, become men. Be liberated. We hate women. That's what it's all saying. The culture of death hates women. Why? Why does the culture of death hate women? Because what is every single woman? The daughter of a king. Which means every single woman in this room is a princess. Follow me here just for a minute, and absolutely, hopefully this will blow some of your minds because I love it. Now, I have a cute little niece. Her name is Catherine, and she's very, very cute. And on Thanksgiving Day, she came up to me this past year, and she said, Uncle John, can we watch a movie? And I'm like, great, we can watch Rambo or Braveheart. And she's like, I'd like to watch Snow White. Are you kidding me? And she's like taking me in the hand. I'm like, okay, great. Now, this is the funny thing, is that it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I kid you not. Now, follow me here, and every Disney movie is going to be radically different to you for the rest of your life. Now, in every single movie, there's a princess. And Snow White sings this beautiful song, and she says, someday my prince will come. Okay, this is very interesting, because this Bible, if you get rid of the New Testament, all you have is the Old Testament, which is the Hebrew Scriptures, the Jewish people, and what are they waiting for? The Messiah. And who is the Messiah? The Messiah, of course, is Jesus Christ. All of Hebrew Scriptures are waiting for the Messiah. listen to the book from this. This is Song of Songs right here. Excuse me. Actually, no. This is from the book of Hosea. Oh, the book of Jeremiah. I remember the devotion of your youth, how I loved you as a bride and followed me into the desert, the land unsown. Continuing. As a man sends away his wife, and after leaving him, she marries another, does not the first husband come back to her? Would not the love of the whole defiled? But you have sinned with many lovers, and yet you would return to me, says the Lord. Throughout the Old Testament, Jeremiah, book of Hosea, Song of Songs, in the Old Testament, God is speaking of as the fact that he is married to his people. You see this whole analogy of like our bodies being a sign and symbol of Christ and his church is the fact that God himself wants to marry us. God wants to be one with us forever. In the sacrament of holy matrimony, you have the opportunity to become a sign and a symbol of that marriage. The marriage between God and his church. I did a wedding a few weeks ago, and it was a Jewish young man who converted to Catholicism and his Catholic wife. And at the wedding, I insulted the whole entire Jewish congregation. But then at the very beginning of it, because they didn't get where I was going, but I said, you know, Jews are kind of like Snow White. Because they're waiting for their prince to come. And it's true. The Jewish people are waiting for the Messiah. Yet Christ has come. Now follow the analogy. In every single Disney film, there's a princess. And there's also a coordinating prince. Some of them have names, some of them have like, Prince Charming apparently is very popular these days. Here's what's interesting. Watch this. In all these films, every single one of them, there's a power of evil that is attacking in this film. Yet who is the power of evil attacking? It is not the prince. It is the princess. And it should have clicked, I'm waiting. Okay, good. Snow White, see where I'm going here? Well, watch this. In the beginning, who does the serpent attack? Not the man, but the woman. Why? Because if the serpent can kill the symbol of humanity, the symbol of the church, the symbol of the Blessed Virgin Mary, the symbol of life, then the serpent is absolutely positively victorious. Disney has no clue how much joy they have brought to my life. But it's so awesome. I mean, this is like, yeah. Now, I'm not promoting Disney films. Don't go out and watch all of them. Some of your parents might not be happy with me. But follow the analogy. It's totally true because it's part of our human nature. This is what happens. This is life. And it's also death if women are not protected. How did the serpent get into the garden? Because Eve fell. A theological look at this is the fact that Adam was called to tend the garden. And the serpent got into the garden because Adam did not protect his wife in the first place. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. What was Christ willing to do? Die so that his bride could have eternal life. Uncle John, can we watch a movie? And I'm like, great, we can watch Rambo or Braveheart. The marital embrace is a sign and symbol of the Trinity. Continuing. Why do women long for their weddings? Big binders, swatches, cloth, material, and guys are like, do we really have to do this? Think about it. Why? Because what are women ultimately longing for? Christ. And what are men called to be? Christ. And they know that they will have to die. They will have to lay down their lives. They cannot lust. They cannot dominate. They cannot be what their natural inclinations tell them to be. And thus, the night before their wedding, they go out and get drunk. It's true. The amount of men that enter into their marriage in the state of mortal sin, because they're scared out of their mind. And they may not know, they may have no reason why they're scared. But why are they scared? Because they're called to be Christ. And that is scary. if you do not have a life of prayer and a life of sanctifying grace within your heart. In review, what do our bodies proclaim? Our bodies proclaim that we are called to be the Trinity, communion of persons. Our bodies proclaim the fact that we are called to be the love between Christ and His church. Our bodies proclaim the fact that our bodies are different. Men are different than women. Women are different than men. And that's a beautiful thing. If there's union and communion, our bodies are called to bring us in union with one another. A bunch of guys can shower together in a locker room and there's no problems. A bunch of girls can do the same. Co-ed shower is not a good thing. Why? Because our bodies reflect the union and the communion that we are called to live in our own lives. Continuing. The sexual act intimately proclaims this. The sexual act between a man and a woman, the marital embrace, is a sign, a symbol of the Trinity, a sign, a symbol of between love, the love that exists between Christ and His church. When you're driving down the highway and you see adult bookstore, triple X, is your first thought, oh, the love that exists between Christ and His church, and oh, that's so beautiful. Three divine persons make one Trinity. Oh, this is wonderful. That's exactly what I learned in my theology class. Oh, that must be like a theology coffee house there. No! We've reduced one of the most beautiful things in all of humanity to pornography, to lust. Yet it doesn't have to be that way. Continuing. Bottom line, sex according to God's plan is holy. It's not bad. It's not dirty. I was told, I went to public school, so we get hit up with secular chastity. You guys have probably been taught a lot about chastity according to the church. Don't have sex, 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 don't have sex. We were told, you can have sex, just make sure that it's safe sex. But we were still told sex is bad. But you want to know what? Sex is not bad. Sex outside of marriage is sinful, but sex within itself is a beautiful gift and mystery of God's love. Our bodies, they're holy. Women, this is actually very, very, very hard for you to even begin to comprehend. But your bodies are good and beautiful and glorious. And I know the world tells you that your bodies are bad and ugly and gross, but they're not. I know that you look in the mirror and sometimes you don't even like who you are. You look at a magazine and you're like, I can't look like that. Well, no, you can't, because you want to know what? It's not real. Those models have more airbrushes on them than a car. You are not called to look like a supermodel. You're called to look like the church. You're called to look like the Blessed Virgin Mary. And ladies, on behalf of every single man who has ever looked at you lustfully, out of every single man that has abused you, I ask you for your forgiveness. Because it's not how you're called to be treated. You are God's greatest creation. You are called to be exalted and lifted up. And if you ever settle for a man who treats you less than a princess, I beg of you to leave. That is not God's plan for your life. Your bodies are holy. They proclaim who God is and who God wants us to be in our own lives. And thus the sacrament of holy matrimony, it's holy. Think about this just for a second. This is us as Catholics. Priests. Oh, they're really holy. Nuns. They're really holy too. Marriage. No one thinks of marriage as like this totally holy thing. It is. It's totally holy. The problem is it needs to be redeemed. I love marriage more than married people, and I'm not even married. I love sex more than people who have sex, and I don't have sex. But I know how glorious it is in God's plan. The question is, will all of you? We are called to be men, and we are called to be manly men, my men. That was awesome. And women, you are called to be women. So, there's union and communion. Our bodies are called to bring us in union with one another. You are not called to look like a supermodel. You are called to look like the church. How do we live this? How do we live as men? How do we live as women? Here are 5 tips from Father Meyer to help bring theology of the body into our own lives. Number 1, never, ever, ever, ever. I had to write a 100-word essay once for my mother because I did something wrong. And the essay went kind of like this. I will never, ever, 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 and then there were about 90 evers, do this again. I am, and then I finished there, so I didn't have to put the word sorry. Just love John. Okay. Never, never use another person as an object. Now, this is called a piece of pizza. Some of you might be hungry right now, but this is, I'd like to just talk about what I like to refer to as pizza love. This is how the majority of people love each other in our world today. Piece of pizza. Looks good, smells good, tastes good. Grab a piece of it, devour it. Looks good, tastes good, and you start over again. Smells good, looks good, smells good, tastes good, feels good. Grab a piece of it, start over again. Looks good, tastes good, feels good. Get it? This is not love. This is how many, many men treat women. She looks good. She smells good. And the list goes on. And ladies, it's not much different for you. He looks good. He uses Old Spice body wash. We are not called to love one another as a piece of pizza. Looks good, smells good, tastes good. Want to grab a piece of it, I devour it. Because what happens? You're hungry 30 seconds later. That is not love. Never use another person as an object. Never. Never allow yourself to be looked at as an object. Now, gentlemen, get a belt. Because underwear has a word that's a part of it, and that's under. If someone wants to invent overwear, that would be kind of weird, but go ahead. At youth events that I run and chaperone, I bring duct tape with me, and we tape. This is called your hips right here, and this is where pants go. I'm wearing a dress right now, but no one wants to see your underwear. That's why it's called under. Got it? Okay. Now, Father, how far is too far? Ready? Bottom line. You can read. If it involves more than holding a hand or kissing that you would do in front of your parents, because God the Father and the Blessed Mother are always with you, you've crossed a line. Get it? Got it? Step number 2. Porn has got to go. And so is all self-abuse, all self-gratification, all sexual acts, which ultimately are about selfishness. Pornography is the biggest industry in the entertainment world these days because we've allowed it to be. Now, we can look at pornography and be like, guys are just so disgusting. I can't even believe that they would look at that stuff, and it's just sick to me, and I don't understand it. Ugh. Funny girls, they have something to look at. It's a two-way street. And pornography among young ladies is on a rapid increase. Lord, open my eyes. I need to see that every single woman is an image of the church. Lord, open my eyes. I need to see every single man as an image of Christ. I beg of you, dear Jesus, open my eyes. Now, it also says this. If your left hand causes you to sin, cut it off. If you have things in your home, in your life, that are instruments of lust, get rid of them. If you have to throw your computer away, throw your computer away. Just don't tell your parents that I told you to do it. I will tell you this. If you have a computer in your bedroom, you are not very smart. And I'm not saying that you're a fool and that you're going to fall into temptation, but Satan is very, very good. If you have a TV in your room, not a good thing. TVs should be used in public and common places where you can watch TV together, not on your own. If you play video games that are lustful, you should get rid of them and destroy them. If you have music that degrades the quality of life and the beauty of women and the beauty of men, you should smash them and destroy them and never listen to them again. Any song that degrades the beauty of woman, and I do not care if it has a great beat, because that was my excuse for many years, you have to get rid of it. Because one day when your beautiful daughter is 16 years old, and you think of the lyrics that you used to listen to, and that her boyfriend is now listening to, you will feel like the biggest hypocrite for the rest of your life. And what you listen to, you will do. All matters of pornography, all matters of lust must be removed from one's life, or spiritual death will occur. Self-abuse, not of God's plan. Sins of lust, not of God's plan. This is my body given up for you. Can Christ commit an act of self-abuse? When he was on the cross, was Christ thinking of himself, pleasing himself? No. He was thinking of others. Love is not about selfishness. Self-gratification, self-abuse, self-love is the opposite of Christian love. Love of self is not love of God. Continuing. Prayer is a must. Now, if you struggle with lust, I beg of you to do two things. One, find a strong devotion to our Blessed Mother. Every single man here must have a strong devotion to our Blessed Mother if he wants to be pure. When you think of a woman lustfully, ask yourself a question. Would I think of the Blessed Virgin Mary in that way? And if not, beg of her to enter into that situation and to give you the grace to leave it. Beg of her to purify your mind and your heart. If you can love Mary honestly, you are beginning to become a man, because you're beginning to learn how to love a woman. Ladies, gain a devotion to Christ and find out what a true man is and how he should love you and the quality that you need to look for in a man. Devotion to the true Christ and devotion to the true woman, Our Lady, are musts in the life of prayer. Prayer every single day. Every single day. I know your parents tell you to pray all the time, to pray your rosary and blah, 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 and some of them force you to pray. Pray. Be thankful that your parents ask you to pray. And begin to pray because you need it in your heart, not because they're asking you to. Also become servants. When you're selfish, the easiest way to overcome selfishness is by being a servant. Give yourself away. Give yourself away. Ladies, realize who your ultimate spouse is. It's not Jim Caviezel. It's Jesus. Because women are called to embrace Christ. And every single man is called to be an image of Christ. Men, you are called to be an image of the Eucharist. You're called to be an image of Jesus. Women, you are its bride. And realize your ultimate vocation, women. The sacrament of holy matrimony, the religious life. To be a bride of Christ, no matter which vocation God is calling you to. Both of them are brides. Both of them wear veils. Both of them have rings on their fingers. Both of them have flowers in their hands because both of them are espoused. one to an earthly image of Christ and one to the heavenly. Continuing, discipline and self-denial. If you struggle with sins of lust, fast. Deny yourself, and you will be able to deny yourself in lust. Lastly, there is strength in numbers. I call and ask all of you, as our young church, to rise up and to reclaim marriage, to reclaim human sexuality, to reclaim masculinity, to reclaim femininity, because it is currently in need of much help. And there is no one else in this world except for the Catholic. There is nowhere else in this world except for the Catholic Church that can reclaim it. Because no one has the authority, no one has the power, no one has the numbers. And I beg of you to speak to your friends that you've met at this conference and become each other's friends, not just during this week, but for the rest of this year. And meet up next year and the year after and the year after and get on your little Facebook and your little MySpace and your little email and say, we're going to check in every single week and make sure that we're doing okay. Make sure that your boyfriend is treating you as he should. Make sure that you're treating your girlfriend as you should. Make sure that you're not going on websites that you shouldn't be. Make sure that you're living as you should. Make sure that you're praying every day. Rise up as a Catholic generation and reclaim the beauty of your bodies. Reclaim the beauty of your souls. If you do not, no one will. If you do not, we say it's bad now. Where will it be for our children? I sought to be a man, and the world let me down. I sought to be a man, and I was picked up by the theology of Pope John Paul II. I beg of you to ask for that grace, to ask for the grace as well, to truly come to know what it is to be a man and what it is to be a woman. Without it, we are lost. God bless you. Peace. Ladies, not only are you an image of the church, an image of all humanity, you're also an image of Mary. Every single man here must have a strong devotion to our Blessed Mother.